Welcome back, my favorite game developers. As you can see, we've become a DJ in this video. We have our mixers. Now when we run the game, you'll notice that we can play around with the music, make it higher, make it lower, and we can also control how loud our sound effects are. So, okay, that's barely... You can see that when we increase the sound, we can hear it better. When we decrease the sound, we hear it less. So let's not waste any more time and let's get to mixing. Okay, so let's add an audio mixer and mix things up. Get it? Let's do the challenge or something. Anyways, audio mixer. So window, audio mixer. There we go. We get the audio mixer here. Let's set it in the scene, and as you can see, this is some kind of object. And if we look at the audio source on the audio manager, you'll notice that it has an output right here, and this is an object or a prefab of the audio manager. But you didn't see this, but my Unity crashed after I finished the video, so there is a lot of weird things. If you see something weird, it's probably because of the crash. Anyways, audio mixer, what do we have in here? This is a way you can read all about the mixers, but generally speaking, this is a way to control the sound of each and every single audio that we have in our world. Now, we have the music, we have the sound effects, so we are going to create first of all a mixer. And this mixer will be the main mixer. Very simply, hit enter. There we go, we've created a main mixer, and you can see right here that in the assets we've created a main mixer game object, or whatever you want to call it. Not a game object, an audio mixer controller. So just like we have an animator controller, we also have the main mixer controller, and we can add it into the prefabs right here so you can see it clearly. Next thing we have is some groups, views, and snapshots. I'm not going to go into details and attenuation and all of that. I barely know what all of these are. All I know that I can create a group right here under the masters and call it the music, and then select the masters again. Make sure not to select the music, select the masters, and then create in here the SFX. Can you please get out of the way? There we go. So the sound effect. So you can see the master controls both the music and the sound effect, and then we can change the music and sound effect level as we please. So if I go into the audio manager in here, you can see that I can change the output and choose one of these two. So because we are using this audio source for the music, I'm going to choose the music. And there we go, we can see that now the audio clips that play using this audio source will be using the music. Let's demonstrate how that works. So I'm going to go into the, where is it? The volume in here. I'm going to set it back to 1. And now when I run the game, any day now, there you go, you can see how loud that is, but I can reduce the sound, edit in play mode. There you go, you can see that I can reduce the sound using this mixer right here, even make it higher than it should be. So keep in mind this is in the play mode, so when I go back I need to change it. But as you can see now, because it plays through the audio mixer of the group music in here, that means that I can change things around and edit them as I want. So I'm going to stop this. And there you go, you can see that because it had this red button, that means it was recording and it kept it at a very low 20 or whatever, 28 decibels. Okay, great, that's great, but now we want to add it to the sound effects. But how are the sound effects produced? Well, if I run the game, this is something that we did not handle in the last video. I shoot, I pause, okay, I didn't do that fast enough, shoot, pause, and there you go, you can see that this was a one-shot audio, and it has the audio source on its own, and it plays and it works, but there is no way for us to access the audio source, the output of this audio source. Trust me, I've tried a lot to try to access it. There is absolutely no way to do this. but I did find some kind of way around it. I'm sure nobody has done this before ever. This is the first time that I've seen this, but I tried it and it works, so let's do it. So the first thing, or the first understanding that we need to change about this is, instead of just having the audio clips, we are going to convert them into game objects, and then every single time we shoot, we are going to instantiate that game object, and then we are going to change obviously the output of that, or change the mixer on that game object, which will have the audio source. I think nobody understood anything, so let's demonstrate how this works and you will see it. So back to in the sound effects, I'm going to select all of my sound effects. I'm going to drag them into my hierarchy. So now you can see each one of those is a game object with an audio source. So what I'll do is I'll select all of these. So from the bottle break to the weapon equipped, and select the output here and make it under the sound effect main mixer. Then we'll go to the prefab, right click, create a folder in here, which will be the SFX. Hit enter, open this up, and then one by one we will make all of them a prefab. Excuse me, nope. So there we go, pistol, player dead, player getting hit, rifle shot, running, shotgun, sniper shot, weapon equipped. And now we can delete all of those, and we all have all of them as game objects. Let's make the audio manager also a game object, save that. And now we should change the way our sound effects are played in the audio manager. So let's do that. I'm going to open up the audio manager in here, and because we are already using this kind of system where we get the parameter, we can keep it as it is. But instead of having these sound effects as audio clips, I'm going to change this into a game object array and save that. Down here we will have an error. Let's just comment this out, save this, and now back in Unity, you'll notice that we have these sound effects which are game objects, and I'm going to set this to 0, hit enter, so our list is empty. I'm going to go into the sound effects folder, and I'm going to lock this down, select all of these, and drag them into the sound effect. So as you can see, they still have the same arrangement, so we can change whatever we want in the breakable, for example, or the pistol, and everything will stay the same. The implementation of the method will stay the same. So now that we have this out of the way, let's apply our changes, and let's go back into the code and see what we're going to do. Now I'm going to issue you a challenge. I think it's a pretty solid 8 out of 10 on the difficulty level. So I'm going to give you a tiny hint. This is not a big hint. We'll just create a private game object, which is going to be the SFX. And this is because we will be, later on we will be deleting this game object and we need a reference to it. So I'm going to save this, and I'm going to take you to your challenge. So your challenge is to instantiate the sound effects. So convert the method play SFX. You'll need to instantiate the proper SFX game object. You'll need to make sure the parent is the main camera, so we listen properly. Why the main camera? Well, obviously because we said we want to have the sound effect instantiate at the closest listener. You'll need to destroy the sound effect after a certain amount of time, and we are going to use something called the invoke. So we've done coroutines, we haven't done invokes yet, and I'm just going to show you a little bit of what are invokes. Anyways, this is the invoke right here, which is a mono behavior, and you can see you can use the invoke using the method name string and use a float time, and if the time is set to 0, this is invoke. Anyways, for better performance you can use coroutines instead, but I just wanted to show you how this invoke works. You can see right here in the example how it works. And finally, I'm going to give you a small hint. Use the clip length for the amount of time to wait. So with that information, I know this is one of the harder videos, challenges I mean. If you find invoke very tricky and even I had to do it multiple times in order to get it 100% right. You can still use coroutines, it's perfectly fine. I just want you to know or have this tool in your own arsenal, just in case maybe sometimes you do need it. So with that out of the way, pause the video right now and go do the challenge. Okay, welcome back. How did you get on with that? I hope it wasn't too hard. So in here, what we're going to do is, first of all, we're going to go ahead and instantiate. And what are we instantiating? We are instantiating the SFX at the SFX number that we have been sent. And we need to choose the parent. This parent is going to be the camera dot main, and it's going to be dot transform. So I'm not sure if we've ever accessed the camera.main. Maybe we did, maybe we didn't. I hope it wasn't too hard of a challenge. But anyways, this is how we make it as a child of the game camera, of the main camera. And then after we do this, we are going to create a method in here, which is going to be a private void destroy SFX game object. And in here we are going to destroy, but what are we going to destroy? We want to destroy the sound effect right here. So I'm going to, in here, create a game object. Sorry for that. I meant not create the game object. I've already created it. So the SFX will be equal to the game object that we've instantiated. And we are going to destroy the SFX. And that's all that we need to do in here. Then we have the invoke. So invoke, or no, this is not the one that we need. Invoke, this is the one that we need. In here we need to give it the method name. So I'm going to copy the method name, put it in between these two little quotes, and then we need the time. And as I've said, we need to use the time of the clip. So how are we going to do this? Well, we can use the SFX. Then we can get the component on it, which is the audio source. And then from there, we can access the clip. And using the clip, we can access the length of that clip. So save that. So what is happening in here? First of all, we are instantiating the sound effects based on the sound effect number that we get. We then get the camera, or we make it a child of the main camera by accessing camera.main.transform. I believe we went through this, I just can't remember where. But anyways, we make it a child of the main camera. Why? Because we want the sound to be exactly on the main camera. Then we invoke a method that will destroy the sound effect after a certain amount of time, because remember, game objects once instantiated need to be destroyed, and we don't want to have our hierarchy filled with sound effects that we are no longer using, or even game objects that we are no longer using. And then we've created this destroy sound effect game object that destroys the sound effect that we've instantiated up here. So with that out of the way, save that, back in Unity, open this up, let's run the game, save all of that because I'm afraid of this crashing again. So now when we run the game, let's open up the camera. We can see right here the main camera. So when we shoot, pause this, look at this. So now we have the pistol shot. There we go. So let's continue. You can see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and all of them. And you can see up here in the sound effects that it's being affected by the sound effect up here. Let's try this on. Okay, so we got the same gun. No worries. Let's try this again. Maybe we get again the pistol. Please, can I have a shotgun? Please, or a rifle, that's good enough. So now when we shoot, there you go. You can see that all of the shots have been instantiated in here and they are being played. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you are committing your changes, and I'll see you in the next video. As you can see, our game is much better now with sound effects. So with that done, I'll see you in the next one. If you haven't already, leave a review. I'll see you